We've made some upgrades to the player movement. I'd like to show them off now with the debug overlay on. So if you look at the player now, you'll notice that he has 2 jumps instead of just 1. He has a ground jump, which will give you full or the maximum amount of vertical velocity. As you hold it down, of course, it's a variable, so you can tap it to get less velocity, and as you hold it, you get more. And of course, if you let it go, you'll immediately stop. You have 2 different jumps now, so that the first jump you trigger is going to be a grounded jump, and the second jump you trigger while in the air will be an air jump, and of course the air jump is going to travel less distance. So I can just demonstrate that now. Okay, the third thing is our jump buffer. So when we hit the ground while we're in the air, if we hit it a little bit too soon, we're still going to apply the input and we'll immediately go back up. So if you look at this timer, it's only 7 frames. So when you run out of your jump counter, you'll be able to still use the jump buffer on the way down. I'll demonstrate this now. As you can see there, I clicked it a little bit, about maybe 3 or 4 different pixels above the ground, and I was still able to execute a move. So that's what jump buffer does. We've now included the coyote time jump grace timer. What this basically does is when you fall off of a ledge, you have 7 frames of grace period where you can still press the button and still jump. So this is 1/10 of a second. Of course, we can always decrease this number. Now, it's hard to visualize because you still have that second jump. So when you fall down, of course, I can still jump. So it's hard to visualize just how much this is impacting. You'd have to remove your second jump so you can really visualize this correctly. But it is there, and it is helpful to make sure that you are performing the intended first jump, because if you don't, what I've done here is if you fall off, you subtract one of your jumps. So if you notice, when I fall off instead of jumping off, my jump counter goes to 1. And so when I perform a jump, I'm only getting that weakened jump. I'm not getting the second one. And so you really want the player to be able to capitalize on the initial jump. So that's why we're wanting to give them a small amount of grace period after leaving a platform to be able to jump. And then we're going to couple that with coyote hang time, which is the amount of frames that we're going to override or prevent gravity from being initiated until 4 frames after we've left a platform. So this just makes it so that we're not dipping down too far and then we're hitting the coyote jump, the grace timer, and then jumping. So it looks really awkward when you're like dipping down and then jumping up. So we want to kind of make it so it seems as though we haven't left the platform. So you hang for 4 frames and then you're able to jump. This just makes it so that you're not dipping down. It's just a feels good thing, and it's really awkward when you don't have it and you've dipped 7 frames down and you jump. You have like this weird looking jump. So this looks a little bit better. Of course, these numbers can get increased and decreased, but that's pretty much what we're doing here with the player movement. Now, we are going to implement the new wall jump, and that is going to be coming next. But for now, this is the player movement that we've added.